Game 4 with everything on the line for KD and the Warriors, who got off to a good start offensively from the field. The Cavaliers would attempt to battle back, but defense was paramount again for the defending champs, blocking the path of LeBron and the Cavaliers to another game in this series, and handing KD another MVP trophy for the finals. The Warriors are champs once more. Welcome to Game Time Live at the NBA Finals, presented by YouTube TV. Back to back, 3 out of 4. The Golden State Warriors once again bringing a championship to Oracle and to the Bay. We welcome you down on the court. We'll have thoughts on both sides, player reaction here on set as well. Casey Stern, Grant Hill, Chris Webber, Charles Barkley. A lot of the conversation as we're watching the game, as it will be now moving forward, about LeBron, but in this case, about what he didn't do with everything on the line, Charles.
I was so disappointed, his passiveness, and it drained all the energy out of the rest of the Cavaliers. He came out passing the ball. I wanted to see somebody fight to the finish. But number one, congratulations to the Warriors, but that left me mad more than anything. For him to come out and play like that with the game on the line, just be so passive. And you can see it drained the energy out of the rest of the players because they fed off his body language. Just disappointed personally.
Yeah, I agree with Chuck. The body language of LeBron really, I think, took the energy from his players. And when you look, LeBron was 7 for 13. Kevin Love was 4 for 13. And Rodney Hood, 4 for 14. In this game, there's no way a player off the bench should have the most shots. And for that, as great as LeBron is, the 50-point games, the triple-doubles, you know, he's raised the bar to where we expect him to come out and to control the game from beginning to end. And today, he didn't do that.
Yeah, no, Chuck said it best. Disappointing. You know, he just did not seem mentally or emotionally engaged.
He packed it in.
I mean, he gave up, right?
He gave up.
It seemed like he gave up, right?
Yes,
Particularly when the game was somewhat close there at halftime, maybe a 5-point lead. They got down, but they fought back in the game in the first half. And in the second half, in the third quarter, I think maybe one shot. I mean, it was not what I expected. And we had all these conversations and debates about GOAT and this, that, and the other, which, you know, you can't really have that real, you know, you can't really make an argument for that. And to me, when you come out and you're passive and you kind of just don't give it your all when your team needs you, you can't really have that discussion as far as I'm concerned.
Gee, he didn't have a field goal made. 5 minutes left in the second till 5 minutes till the end of the game, where, by the way, he walked off the floor.
And the game was over.
Right, and the game was over. Can we put an end to, Chuck? Because I know you were talking about this a lot upstairs.
Hey, listen, do
you have a message? Let's show the board for it. I want you to be able to look in the camera and tell them what you told me.
First of all,
LeBron, most NBA Finals series losses, he had 6.
And that ain't all on him.
Now let's get Chuck. Chuck, can you please tell America your thoughts to any individual, male or female, whoever tells you that MJ is not as good as LeBron?
I'm just going to say this. Any media person that I see in person for the rest of my life who try to tell me LeBron James is good as Michael Jordan, I'm just going to slap the hell out of him right on the spot. Right? No question asked. The next person who walks up to me and say, LeBron James, who is amazing, as good as Michael Jordan or competes like Michael Jordan, I'm just going to slap the hell out of you right on the spot. And I'm going to take my chances with the judicial system.
Kobe Bryant put on Instagram, he said he was not buying that LeBron played with these garbage. Basically, LeBron was saying he wasn't playing with anybody, and he said, we're not as good. I know you guys didn't like that, but Michael Jordan's going to shoot 40 times if he has to. Kobe Bryant is going to say, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm the man. I'm going to go down on the sword. He didn't defend Durant. He took 13 shots. I don't know how else you look at it, Webb.
Well, yeah, you look at it. I mean, Chuck said it all. I mean, that's why Chuck's one of the best on TV. He just gives it to you like it is. And so I can't add any more to that. I would say this, though. After the comments the other day that we don't have a team and, you know, as good of a team and there's less room for error, then that means you take it upon yourself and you handle it. That means you do it. Again, Rodney Hood, he was the sixth man, took the most shots on the team. And I really thought it was unfair for these guys because some of them look like deer in the headlights because they've never been on this stage before and they're not expected to be those scorers. And as fans, just as fans, this is when you want to see the best player in the game today put the team on his back and make something happen.
What bothers me, these two guys are great players. Great players. when you're the best player on the team, everybody feeds off you, good or bad. Good or bad, they feed off you. And you could just see, like, early he's passing it, just going through the motions. And he didn't get going, so the rest of the team didn't get going. And then when things got out of hand in the third quarter, it was really over then. I'm just disheartened because, listen, I didn't win the championship, but I always competed. And that was not competition tonight. That was like, hey, we're going to pack this thing in. I'm going to get some good stats. To go from 5 minutes in the second quarter to really when the game is over in the fourth quarter and don't score a field goal, that's ridiculous.
And look, let's be fair. We'll talk more about LeBron a little bit later in the night. But it's very well could be his last game in Cleveland, not the impression you want to leave the crowd. Let's get to the other surprise, because we're going to hear from the Warriors. They'll be on set. And we're going to have, I'm sure, the MVP here. We thought that would be Steph. At least that was the thought, I think, from some of us here. Were you surprised at all, G, that Durant gets the MVP over Steph despite the performance from Curry tonight, who ended up putting up 37?
Casey, I probably would have given the nod to Steph Curry, but they both were sensational. But it gets to that point what Chuck said, that Game 3 performance by Kevin Durant, one of the best in the finals, just a signature performance, on the road. As we always say, a playoff game doesn't start until the home team loses. And Kevin Durant came in here and just put it on them. And that combined with tonight's triple-double, you could make a case either way. I thought Steph Curry had 37, had a great first 2 games in the series, but Kevin Durant was just as sensational. And I don't know if there's ever been sort of like a debate about who's going to be the MVP, but they both were deserving, and Kevin Durant was just awesome.
Yeah, I would have voted for Steph personally because I thought he played better in 3 out of the 4 games. Obviously, Kevin was fantastic tonight. In Game 3. He was very good tonight. But I actually thought they made a conscious effort to try to get him. He shot the ball 30 times compared to Durant 17 times. I thought Steph forced some shots, but I could tell out of a timeout a couple times, they ran a set play for Steph. I do think they were trying to get him pulled.
Now, we heard of that. Thank God there's only a 4-game series. Well, we must at least point out, even though LeBron, by the way, we talked about before, leads the world with 10 of these in the NBA Finals, but a triple-double for Kevin Durant. So it wasn't like he had a bad game. He had 20 points and ended up having 12 rebounds and 10 assists. Another game where he filled the whole stat sheet.
Yeah, and we just saw the cumulative stats right there, and it seems that he had a better series. But from the eye test, you would have thought, hey, with the 9 3-pointers and the record that Steph Curry set, that maybe it is. But, when you watch this series, it was one player that did not look like the rest of them for Golden State. And the obvious mismatch for both teams was Kevin Durant. It just showed, especially in Game 3. And I think, if Chuck said that's one of the best performances he's seen in the finals. I know for Grant, myself, it is too. And, a great performance like that wins it for your team. And we heard Clay say at this very desk that he gave Clay and Steph the night off. And that's the type of things you happen. But that's a great problem to have, right? 2 MVPs, first team with 2 MVPs under 30. And then we're trying to see who could get the MVP for the game. I think the future looks bright for this team.
A lot of people complained we sat before the season last year, right? Well, how could KD – what do you mean you went from Oklahoma City to the team that beat you? You can't do that in the super team. All the stuff we talked about. But do you think he's shut enough people up? Back-to-back championships, back-to-back NBA Final MVPs. I don't know what else he could do to prove that he made the right decision.
Well, he could have won one in Oklahoma City. That would have been a good decision, too. Listen. One of the reasons old heads like myself got mad, when a guy this great, if Michael Jordan had a winning play with the Lakers or the Celtics, they would have been unbeatable. I personally want to beat those guys. So, listen, he had the right to do it. We didn't like it. We're never going to like it because we knew it was going to ruin the competitive balance.
But don't you give credit because he's been the best player in the 2 finals, going back to what Webb was saying before, G, in our pregame about being that bus driver, or no?
Well, you got to give him credit. Look, he was a great player before he came to Golden State. I think what's really awesome is, how Golden State has accepted him and allowed him to come into this team that really didn't need him.
Yes.
Truth be told, 2 years ago, up 3-1 after Game 4, Draymond gets suspended. I mean, they very easily and probably should have won that championship in 2016. So now you bring in the best one-on-one player in the world, and it just works. It works. Steph, Clay, Durant, the chemistry, it speaks to the character in that locker room as they celebrate. But that's very uncommon, particularly in this day and age. And I think eventually over time people may forget it, but, hey, it doesn't matter. He's got 2 chips, 2 championship MVPs, and very deserving.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think, for myself, I won't forget it. I don't know if a lot of fans will forget it. But if I'm him, I don't care.
Right.
I think Chuck said it earlier.
Right.
I mean, we can have our opinion, and he could do what he wants to do. But for me, being down 3-1, I would have loved to come and see him beat this team back just as an old-school competitor. But who cares what I think if I'm him? If I'm him, I'm not listening to any of us.
Right.
I'm going to do what I want and win. So hopefully for himself, he's not insecure or upset. And hopefully he didn't win anything tonight by proving it, because he's always been a killer on the court. So to me, no, he's who I thought he was. He's a great player, and he plays on a great team. So hopefully this doesn't, in his mind, make him better, because he doesn't need anybody else's approval.
We showed board there. Obviously, 3 out of 4. It could have been 4 straight, right? If they don't blow that one series. You guys all played against great teams, 4 great teams. It's clearly a dynasty, right? But where does that dynasty rank? Is this one of the great all-time teams because they have too many great players? Does it take away? How do you see this?
Well, they have 3
dynasty?
great players. They have 3 great players. They're all in their prime. They've won, really, let's be realistic. If Draymond's not out there kicking people, this would be a 4-peat, more than likely. You have to be realistic.
Right.
So, and they're all young. We can't judge this thing until it's over, because they were the biggest favorite in the last 25 years coming into the finals. They're going to be in the finals more than likely next year. I mean, we got to see, before we start talking about we got to see how this movie going to end. Because who's the oldest of those big 3?
Durant, maybe, I think.
I think it's Kevin, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm saying I don't even know how old Kevin is.
They're not. None of them are old.
I know. That's what's scary. This thing could go on for another 3 or 4 years.
For Ty Lue, he's happy this season isn't going on any further. Maybe in one respect, it seems like it's been 5 years, a long year for Ty Lue. They've gone through, what did they say, 7 chapters of the season. Here he is moments ago after the loss.
First question on the right side over here. 3rd row.
Coach, Spencer Davies, Basketball Insiders. Just given the whole 5 seasons in one thing, and the fact that you guys have had so much up and downs, and the roster, so much turnover with that, the fact that they got to this stage in the first place and had a chance to win some games, just the accomplishments that you guys had, where do you find yourself thinking how this season ended up?
Just after the game, just talking to the guys, and it was a tough season. We went through a lot, but I think it made us tougher, made us stronger. The new guys who had a chance to play in the playoffs for the first time, the new guys who had a chance to experience the finals, what you dream of doing, when you're a kid, and they have that experience. But I told those guys, now they see what we have to do to get better and take that next step. But man, overall, everything this team's been through, the players have been great. They stuck with it, never gave in. We had plenty of opportunities to fold, and we didn't. I think our coaches did a great job of just keeping guys ready, coming up with game plans to try to be the best that we can be, defensively. And I thought we turned the corner in the playoffs defensively, outside of playing these guys who are, dynamic offensively. But we did some good things. And, Dan Gilbert, Kobe Altman, they done some great things to be able to help going towards the future. Dan's always willing to spend to help us get to that point. Kobe made some ballsy decisions that, that worked and could help us, down the stretch and in the future. So, after all the stuff that we've been through, and for the guys to pull together and, get this far when a lot of people counted us out, I'm very proud of the guys, and it's a big step for us.
Tim, last row in the center.
Hi, Tim Reynolds with the AP. How do you want, or how do you think fans should remember this season from LeBron?
To be the best player in the world and to give everything you got in your 15th season, play all 82 games, probably one of the greatest playoff runs that we'll ever see from an individual, to carry this team the way he did all season and leading by example, it's just a testament to his character and who he is as a person and as a player. And he had a lot of opportunities. He could have sat out of games, and we was going through a tough stretch and wasn't playing well, but he didn't want to do that. And a lot of guys would have folded under those circumstances, but he didn't. And I mean, he's a bad boy, and love having him on our team. He fights and competes to the end, and sometimes you can give everything you got and still come up short. And I thought that's what a group of guys did in this series, and that's about it.
Joe up front on the left.
Joe Barkley.
On social media, they're excited. They sold out Oracle, by the way, to watch this game in 10 minutes. That's how quick it took for everybody to sell out the building to watch it at home.
Well, this game was over in about 10 minutes.
Well, it wasn't over before tip, although maybe you thought it was.
Oh, yes, it was.
You want to give me that Slim to None thing?
Slim got shot last week.
Right.
Hey, Casey, there's not a single person in America thought the Cavs were going to win this game tonight.
Including the Cavs.
Including the Cavs.
Steph Curry got hot early, looking for that MVP.
Boom!
There it is.
I never get tired of hearing that, Grant. I will admit it.
Later in the first, LeBron miss inside. Going the other way, KD, easy slam, 24-13. LeBron did have 16 in the first half. Webb, it looked like he was going to have maybe one of those games, and we saw in the second quarter he got aggressive a bit.
Well, yeah, you know what? I really didn't think he was going to have one of those games. He made it look so easy in the beginning with his 15 points, but you saw him passing the ball even before he got to half court. So you knew tonight he was going to try to get others involved early.
This time gets a jam. Nice look right there from J.R. Smith. Lead was won, 39-38, but Steph uses the screen, and then good night. There's a three.
Why in the world are you playing under on that pick?
He had 20 in the half. Here's another one. 61-52. The lead was 9 at the half. They extend it. KD shooting over chairs throughout the course of this series at his height.
Just not fair, KC, 6'11". That's a tough shot right there, fadeaway. KD all in his bag here, all series.
Cavs struggling. Kevin Love had a good first half again at least. Misses the three. Draymond Green with the defense. Then LeBron tries to drive, offensive foul. Had a couple of those. 3 fouls for the Cavs early in the first minute, setting the tone in that second half. The Warriors, though, keep it going. Clay finally got involved. Didn't score at all, Charles, in the first half.
Hey, listen, he didn't have to. That was the easiest 20-some point victory. Like, they just pulled away gradually, and they never had a chance.
Steph Curry, one of those relocation threes. LeBron not happy about this. He talked body language. Frustrated on the bench. He's going to watch Curry with 37. Here's another three. It's good.
You knew this was going to happen with the game that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson had last game, not shooting well. NBA players don't do that often. They work so hard. And then when they're making shots, what happens? You get the slips. And we saw the miscommunication again on all the slips.
You think the slip screen became a thing? And I mean, it's unbelievable the lack of adjustments on that play in the series, right?
And Casey, it's beautiful to watch them. Great one-on-one players, but they played together, moving, slip screens, trusting each other as LeBron James checks out.
Indeed. That about says it right there. That's the headline. Leaves with 5 minutes to go in the game. The Warriors back-to-back champs against Steph at 37. But Kevin Durant, who had a triple-double, there they are at Oracle, gets the back-to-back finals MVP trophies. There it is, Larry O'Brien being handed to the Warriors. Yet again, 3 times in 4 years, the champs. They won't get another game at Oracle. They wanted to sweep last year. Remember game 4 a year ago, they lost by, I think like 30 points. They got blown off the court. Not the case this time. They win it by 23. We will hear from the Warriors on set and more, and continue on Twitter. A GoFundMe page to pay Charles's court fees for all the media members he's going to slap in the future who tell him that MJ wasn't as good as LeBron. Maybe that got finished tonight. So did the series. We're back with more coming up on Game Time Live. For the second consecutive year and the third in the last 4, the Golden State Warriors are champs. They sold out Oracle in 10 minutes, have the fans come in to file to watch it. They won't get to see a Game 5 this time around as we welcome to the set one of the champs, Draymond Green. I want to start asking you about that. After what happened last year, because you guys are competitors and perfectionists, how much did you want to right the wrong of Game 4 a year ago and finish this off?
I mean, we definitely did. We completely laid an egg last year in Game 4. And we knew coming out here, we wanted to give it our best shot. And if that didn't win us the game, then that's fine. We can live with that. But coming out here, you know, not focused, thinking we're just going to walk into a win like we did last year, we couldn't make that mistake again.
No, it's remarkable. 3 championships in 4 years. The first one probably was just super exciting. It was fun. And, I mean, how do you describe this feeling right now? Does it get old, you know, getting the champagne and winning? I mean, what are you going through your mind right now from an emotional standpoint?
Man, the feeling definitely never gets old. You know, it's kind of hard to put it in words, but one thing I will tell you is this one right here, it was the toughest one yet. You know, with all the injuries we went through during the season, Steph out to start the playoffs, our battle with Houston, you know, they was a great ball club, pushed us to, you know, they gave us everything we could handle in that series. You know, to coming out here and Clay pretty much limping through all 4 games, Andre missing the first 2, like everything we went through, this one was the toughest one, and it probably feels the best of all of them.
You know, I talked to Coach Izzo, and when he talks about you, he says, all I can say is he's a winner. Same with Coach Kerr. When you talk about all the stuff you've been through this year, and then you look back at your career and your history, forget skill, what has been your greatest asset as a leader in the locker room?
I think, you know, just number one, always willing to give anything for the team. You know, it's never about me. Whatever I would want for myself personally or anything like that, it's always just giving for the team and putting my body on the line every night, doing whatever I can to help my guys out. I think that's the most important thing for me, and I try to do that night in and night out.
Why'd you put a battery in Durant back like that, though? Why you? He don't need a battery in his back.
Do something different,
man.
You know, I asked KD and Clay this. You're around Draymond Green every day. Is he just as annoying in person as he is on television?
Honestly, I may be. You know, I may be, but I think at the end of the day, that's my job. Yeah. You know, these guys come out here, they're scoring the ball every night, 20, 30, 40 points. You know, it's my job to be that guy who nitpicks on everything, who gets under everyone else's skin, who's, you know, kind of that force behind everything. And so they won't say it because they love me, but I probably am.
Congratulations, man. Well played.
Thank you.
Yeah, Draymond, one other thing. I mean, obviously your core, your 4 guys, you, the all-stars that you guys are. You guys, sometimes teams, when they have a lot of success, they don't handle that well. And you guys seem to handle it. You get along. You play unselfishly. You play for one another. Just talk about that spirit and that camaraderie that we've seen on display over these last 4 years.
Well, you know, that's what this whole thing has been built on. You know, it was built on selflessness. You know, we always go back to the story of Andre willing to come off the bench when Steve came in. You know, that's what it's all been built on. It's never been about Steph, like, I need to get the MVP. It's all of us like, no, let's try to help him get the MVP. And, you know, you go down the line, it's never about, oh, Steph, I need to get an NBA Finals MVP. Whatever's working is working, and I mean, that's what's made us great, you know, in these years we've had.
I got a question. In your private moments, I mean, you can obviously going to tell the truth. Have you ever said to yourself, if I didn't get suspended, this would be 4 in a row?
100%.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
You know, with me getting suspended, you know, that changed this whole series. I think one thing you take for granted in series is one game can change it. You know, and everybody say, oh, no, you was there for 6 and 7. It's different because now they got the momentum.
Yeah.
And so I know, you know, if I played in that Game 5, it was over then. But it is what it is because if that happens, then we probably don't have Kevin Durant.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
And so if that happens, then we probably don't have Kevin Durant, and then who's to say we've won these last 2?
Okay.
So everything happens for a reason.
You know, we have a tweet I want to show you. This is the reaction from what's gone out at Oracle tonight and out by the Bay where they've just been crazy, standing outside in the streets. Can you discuss it? I see you kind of looking and smiling. Just the relationship you guys have built with that area and how much those fans have been the sixth man really for this team over the years?
Those fans are the best. You know, from my rookie year, coming in the year before I got there, I'm not saying this was because of me, but they sucked. And, I walked into that gym and it was still loud as ever.
Right.
They always supported the fans of, the fans of Oakland, the fans of the whole Bay Area. Like, they ride with us. And, I've never seen anything like it. Like, they treat us like they own. And, we appreciate that. We feed off that. And, we do this for them.
You talked about it being a difficult run. How important is the level of trust you guys have in each other? Because we were talking about it, whether it was LeBron this time, we always hear guys talking about their teammates, maybe not lifting them up to the way you would like to hear publicly. You guys always seem publicly and privately to feel that belief at such a high level.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. You got to support your guys publicly and privately, because one thing about publicly is all it takes is for one guy to go home and someone say, man, Draymond said this about you, or he didn't have your back on this, and then it gets in the guy's head. And so I think that's very important to keeping that togetherness, and the togetherness is why we win.
All right, we're going to let you run. Be honest, Charles played the same way you do, right? Like he just.
I watched a lot of film.
Yeah, let's be fair. Okay.
You play defense, though.
You play defense.
You ever see the charge he took on Sean Bray?
Yeah, that was bad. But I couldn't score the ball like him, though. So, it's give take.
Hey,
Congrats, man.
Congratulations.
Again.
Well deserved.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to hear from Steve Kerr here at the podium after the win.
Before we start, I just want to congratulate Cleveland on an amazing season. I watched that team a lot during the year. We always keep our eye on them, of course, and there have been kind of three different versions of their team. And the fact that they got here surprised me, actually, watching them during the regular season. It didn't look like they were going to have enough. But what Ty did with his group, and obviously what LeBron does night after night, is just incredible. And they had an amazing run. Bottom line is, we got a lot of talent. And we had more talent than they did, and it was, talent wins in this league. But congrats to Cleveland, and I will take any questions now.
Tim in the back.
Steve, Tim Reynolds with the AP. You said you were surprised that Cleveland got here. Were there nights like maybe the January game in Utah, or even as recently as 3-2 against Houston, where you had doubts whether you guys would get to this moment as well?
Absolutely. There were doubts. The last month of the season was really difficult, and I was hoping we were going to be able to turn it up once the playoffs started, because we did not begin this run in a good way. In terms of where we were as a group, I think we lost 10 of our last 17, which more than anything was an indication of just how long this journey has been for us. And we knew we were going to have to find our defense. And right from the beginning, game one against San Antonio, I think Pop said that was the best defense they had faced all year. And Andre stepping in for Steph, with Steph being injured, running the point, showing his versatility, and really establishing our defensive mindset in that series, I think, got us rolling.
Mark over in the third row.
Steve, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Steph got a finals record 9 3-point shots in game 2. Tonight he closes out with 37. What more does he need to do to be named finals MVP?
I don't vote, so I know that's a storyline, and I'm sure it would have been nice for Steph to win the MVP. But honestly, I don't think he's that disappointed at this point. One of the great things about having the talent around him is that he gets to win championships. And 2 years ago, we lost in Game 7 to Cleveland, and that was devastating. And Steph went out and recruited KD with this in mind, winning titles. And I was there in the Hamptons when we had that discussion. I don't remember anybody asking, who's going to win MVP in the finals. It was all about let's win championships together, and that's what this is about. You guys can write about MVP. We don't care.
2 rows back towards the left.
All right, there's this coach talking about the MVP, and now we have Kevin Durant on set. Congratulations, first and foremost, on the championship.
Thank you.
Give us a sense of what it feels like now to have 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs.
I'm just grateful that, I get to go to work with a group of guys that care about the game so much, who care about each other, organization that just want us to succeed as men and as basketball players. I think that's more important than anything. And, I think all of us love the game so much, and we just want an environment to craft our skill as much as we can. And, they present that to us here with the Warriors, and to put off with a championship means a lot.
You had a legendary performance in Game 3 a year ago, outdid yourself in Game 3 of this series. How great has it been and gratifying for you to get in those moments and be able, Kevin, to thrive the way that you have?
Well, I've been working since I was 8 years old to become a basketball player. That's all I wanted to do with my time. And to, do it on, this level and in the finals and be able to win the championship, it means a lot to me, but for our team, it just means so much. Just the work we put in, the ups and downs, the injuries that we, kind of persevered through. I mean, it's so much that we went through as a team, and, I'm happy that we finished it off with a chip.
Kevin, congrats on your second ring championship, second MVP, DMV, baby.
Yes, sir.
What's the emotion like right now? I know last year, your first one, you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
What's it like now in this back-to-back championship for you?
I'm just happy the job is done.
Right.
I think we come in and, the beginning of the season is always about, grinding for the playoffs and trying to get ready for the playoffs. And, we came into the playoffs with Steph being injured, and I think, having Quinn Cook and, come in and play big minutes for us and late in the season, Duke guy, and in the playoffs was able to kind of help us, transition from not having Steph to, kind of integrating him pretty smooth. And, just the journey that everybody took this whole year, man, it was just amazing. And to win on the road and, Game 7 in Western Conference Finals and win here on the road, it just showed, the type of team we have, and just excited to be a part of this group, man. It's amazing.
We know you play for other teams, and we're not talking about those teams. Or I'm not talking about those teams, but you get to play in this system with these type players. And we've seen your game has always been good, but maybe we've seen you grow or have more fun. Could you talk a little bit about being here in this system? How has that allowed you to be even more of who you are?
I pride myself on trying to do everything on the basketball court. And coming here, I wanted to be in a role where, coach depends on me to do everything on the court, not just score or, get assists or rebounds. I try to, be there on the defensive side of the ball, block shots, being a guy that can switch out and guard 1 through 5. I just try to take pride in that and knowing that I can affect the game in different ways outside of just my scoring. And I really, really feel like I'm an all-around player right now. And I'm just, I feel like I'm at the peak of, who I want to be, but I still got, a lot of time to go and a lot of, places to get better at in my game. So it's just exciting knowing I can affect the game in different ways. That's always been my goal since a kid, was to do everything on the basketball court. And it's amazing that coach kind of unlocked that for me, and my teammates encouraged me to do everything.
I said last game, since I've been in television, the night LeBron scored 29 out of 30, that was the best performance I've ever seen as a broadcaster. And I said your last game, when you had 43, but you had 13 rebounds and 7 assists, that was the second best performance I've ever been.
I'll take that.
Be able to watch. I mean, so number one, congratulations on that game.
Thank you.
And then you come back with a triple-double, well-deserved MVP.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. Just trying to just play my game, like I said, just try to be well-rounded and, just not coming in thinking about just scoring, just trying to do everything on the court.
Do me one favor. Let the people next year know, man, that you're the unicorn and you're tall, man. You're tall, man. You're the tallest player.
The real unicorn.
You're able to do this, man.
Just watch me play.
Yeah, don't hide behind him. He's
Double
not 6'5", man. He's not 6'5".
Katie, congrats again,
Thanks
man.
a lot, fellas. I appreciate it.
Well deserved.
There's the Finals MVP for the second year in a row, Kevin Durant. Sam Amick, USA Today, Tweets out, LeBron's been playing with a serious bone contusion in his right hand since Game 2, I'm told. There was also a report from Brian Windhorst that he had punched a whiteboard after Game 1. Here he is at the podium, 2 MRIs and a soft wrap on his hand. Take a look.
Well, first question, Joe on the left side, second row.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. LeBron, we're just learning about your hand injury, and we can obviously see the brace. Can you take us through what happened and if it caused you any problems over the final 3 games?
What happened? Self-inflicted. Post-game after Game 1. Very emotional. For a lot of different reasons, understanding how important a Game 1 is on the road for our ball club. What would that done for us? The way we played, the calls that was made throughout the course of that game. And I had emotions on, the game was taken away from us. I had emotions of you just don't get an opportunity like this on the road versus Golden State to be able to get a Game 1. And, I let the emotions get the best of me and pretty much played the last 3 games with a broken hand. So that's what it is.
And then I recognize the finals just ended, but I know you're ready for these questions. Do you feel like you've played your last game for the Cavs?
I have no idea at this point. The one thing that I've always done is consider, obviously my family, understanding, especially where my boys are at this point in their age. They were a lot younger. The last time I made a decision like this 4 years ago. I got a teenage boy, a preteen, and a little girl right now that wasn't around as well. So, sitting down and considering everything, but, my family is a huge part of whatever I've decided to do in my career, and they will continue to be that. So I don't have an answer for you right now as far as that.
Tim, all the way in the back.
LeBron, 2 questions. One, all the way in the back. 2 questions. One, how do you want this season to be remembered, given, guys in their 15th year don't do this at all? How do you want this year to be remembered?
For me personally?
Yes.
I have no idea. That's for you guys to kind of figure out how you want to characterize my 15th season. It's definitely been a whirlwind. It's been ups and downs. It's been good. It's been bad. For me, I just try to be consistent throughout the course of the season, be the leader I know I can be for this ball club, for this franchise every night, no matter what was going on from the outside or the inside, and be reliable every single day, showing up to work every single day, putting in the work, and grinding every single day. So, I have no idea how the story will be talked about in my season, but that's not. I know I punch the clock in every single day, and that's for me. And I understand that, and I'm okay with that.
And to kind of follow up on one of Joe's questions, you've gone through this dance that's coming this summer. You've gone through this a few times. Do you anticipate this just because of, like you said, the family and your kids going into high school and your age and all those things? Do you anticipate this summer being the toughest as far as deciding what the right path for you is?
No, I felt like 10 was the toughest.
Rachel up front.
Rachel Nichols, ESPN. LeBron, how would you characterize these playoffs for you?
For me personally?
And the team.
And the team? I wondered if we could hit a switch some way, somehow, just because of the course of the regular season. It was just like, I don't know. You guys asked me a lot. Our beat writers, kind of asked us throughout the whole, season, and then we made the trades. And right before the playoffs, a couple weeks before the playoffs, do you feel like your team is ready for the postseason? I didn't know. It was just the unknown. Our season was kind of the unknown, and I wondered if we can hit a switch in the postseason. I figured if I stayed laser sharp, if I came in with the right mentality, if I came in with the right mindset, that I could help fast track this, throughout a lot of games in the postseason because of my experience and because some of the other guys that experienced a lot of games, and I was able to do that. We was able to do that, and it's I don't know. I think it's never a success. You know, it's never a success in the postseason when you lose. Not for me. You know, I have no idea. But for me personally, you know, like I said, being reliable to my teammates, being able to play the game at a higher level with as many games and as many miles that I have on my body, and you know, put together a run like I had in the postseason. It's something that I can, you know, kind of remember. You know, the ending is obviously still fresh and still new, and you never want to lose, and especially in this fashion, being a competitor. But it is what it is, and you know, like I said, I punch my clock every day.
I know you have no way to know yet whether your time here is over or not, but I'm wondering what playing with the word Cleveland across your chest has meant to you for this second run.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I came back because I felt like I had some unfinished business, you know, and you know, to be able to be a part of the championship team 2 years ago with the team that we had and in the fashion that we had is something I will always remember. Obviously, I think we all remember that. I mean, it ended the drought for Cleveland. It was 50-plus years. I think we will all remember that in sports history. So, you know, when you have a goal, I think any individual, anybody, male, female, whoever the case may be, when you have a goal and you know, you like seek that goal out and you dream about that dream and you put everything you can to. Guys like this brace, huh? Guys like this, cast, huh? You want me to sit right here for it? I don't even know where I was, Rach. I'm sorry. Next question. I'm sorry.
Dave, standing on the left.
Dave McMenamin, ESPN. LeBron, in 2010, you basically started, or were part of a team starting from scratch in 2014, same process, and then 4 months ago, and were able to get to the finals. If you had to do that again in your career, you know, basically start a team from scratch, what have you learned from this year that, you know, you had a different team in February from what you're playing with in the finals?
Well, it's definitely not the most comfortable thing, you know, to start a team from scratch, because the most important is health. Because you need to, you know, build chemistry so fast and camaraderie so fast on the floor. And if you have multiple injuries or you have multiple bodies out, you know, when you're starting fresh, it's too hard, you know. And I think, you know, with this season, that's what you kind of saw. The difference between this season and the difference between my first year in Miami, we didn't have many injuries at all. And we were definitely fresh together, but myself and D. Wade and Bosh, you know, UD, you know, Mike Miller had a few injuries, but Chalmers was available, you know, and pretty much our team, we were pretty solid as far as not being injury prone. Obviously, my first year back here, we were headed in the right direction, and then we hit the postseason, and Kev has a separated shoulder with the tie with Olenek, and then Kyrie, you know, goes down in the first or second possession in overtime of game one in the finals. You know, so I mean that's just huge. So you know, being a part of the you know, the start fresh mode is something that you definitely don't want to be a part of. It's you know, it has its pros and it definitely has its cons.
Jason up here.
Athletic. When you tell Rachel you came back as unfinished business, does one championship finish that business?
I mean, that's a trick question at the end of the day, and I'm not falling for that.
It's not a trick.
No, yes, it is. I mean, for me, I still have so much to give to the game, and you know, like I said, when you have a goal and you're able to accomplish that goal, it actually, for me personally, made me even more hungry to continue to try to win championships, and I still want to be in championship mode, and I think I've showed this year why I will still continue to be in championship mode.
And when you came back in 2014 and we did the thing at InfoCision, understanding things can change in 4 years, but you said you don't plan on going anywhere, you can't go through this again. What did you mean by that, and what's this process like, this free agency process of having to make a decision of where? Can you just take us through, shed some light on what that process is like?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to take you throughout the whole process. That's not fun. But at the end of the day, like I said, you know, when I decide what I'm going to do with my future, my family and the folks that have been with me for the last 20 years pretty much will have a say-so. And then it ultimately will come down to me. So we'll see what happens.
Howard standing on the left.
Howard, back at Bleacher Report. LeBron, when you made the move in 2010, obviously you had certain goals and things in mind that made you, pushed you toward that decision. Similar 2014. Are the decisions or the thought process, priorities different at age 33, 15 years in than they would have been at those other junctures?
No, I don't think so. To be able to, I made the move in 2010 to be able to, play with talented players, cerebral players, that you could see things that happen before they happen on the floor, and your teammate can do the same. Throughout the course of a season, throughout the course of a game, throughout the course of a playoffs, throughout the course of the finals. So when you feel like when you feel like you're really good at your craft, I think it's always great to be able to be around other great minds as well, and other great ball players in my instance, and other great I think studies of the game itself. So that's never changed. Even when I came here, in 14, I want to try to surround myself and surround this franchise with, great minds and guys that actually think outside the box of the game and not just go out and play it.
All right, so there's LeBron James. We welcome you back to the Court Game Time Live, presented by YouTube TV here on NBA TV, and Coach Steve Kerr is with us. Coach, Draymond was here. He said that he doesn't know if necessarily one is more gratifying than the next, but he said this was the toughest. Did you feel that way about this?
Oh, no question. Just trying to do this, 4 years in a row and getting to the finals 4 years in a row. There's a cumulative effect and wear and tear, especially emotionally, that our guys felt. This was the first year where I felt like I couldn't reach them and motivate them. But I understood it because it's a long haul. And once we got to the playoffs, our defense picked up and we found our groove again.
Steve, congrats on your third championship as a coach. I'm just curious, when you play against LeBron James and the Cavs, is it changing up what you're doing? Is it just sort of stick to what we've been doing all along? What was your sort of game plan, if you don't mind sharing? Because you guys obviously had great success against LeBron and, more importantly, the Cavs. But was it just switch everything, stick to our principles? Was there anything in particular you guys were trying to accomplish going into the series?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you just want to do the best you can with LeBron. You try to put pressure on him. He's going to get 30, 10, and 10 probably, and maybe more like he did in Game 1. But I think there's certain keys in every series that you go into, and I'll tell you what, we locked in on Kyle Korver. We knew from watching the tape of their earlier playoff rounds, when he scores, when he gets free for threes, that's when they're at their best. So I thought we did a great job on Korver. We just made LeBron work as hard as he could, or as hard as we could. And then the other key was getting Andre back for games 3 and 4, because that's another body who we can throw on LeBron and try to put pressure on him.
Congratulations, Coach. And we talked to Kevin Durant, and I asked him what was the best thing about the system, and he said the fact that you allowed him to be a full player and you trust him. As a coach that played, what's the best characteristic about having a team like this? Is it the unselfishness? Is it the fact that guys can – what's the best?
I think what makes our team special is our guys don't need the ball. We got 4 All-Stars and another guy in Andre who's been a Finals MVP, and they can all play with the ball and they can all make plays. And when you have that combination, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Did you say after Game 1 or Game 2 that these dummies going to play the slip screen bad every single time, and all we got to do is keep running, we get a layup every time?
I knew you were coming with something. It's only been 4 years since we were working together, so I knew something was coming.
No, but seriously, though, were you amazed? We're sitting here, we do a big thing before Game 3, and you come out and get 15 or 17 layups on a very simple play. Were you kind of surprised after Game 1 they played the same crappy defense on that play?
You know what? We felt like if we set a lot of screens that we were going to get some slips because we saw they were switching everything. And then when Steph got going, game 2, and they started blitzing him.
Yeah.
And so now there's all kinds of openings.
Yeah.
Look, the Cleveland was not a good defensive team this year. I mean, I'm just, stating a fact, right?
Uh-huh.
They were 28th, 29th in the league defensively. That was not their strong suit. So we felt like we could attack them and keep the ball moving, and there would be some breakdowns, and eventually we got them.
Because you have 4 Hall of Famers on the team, they're going to get a lot of attention. But I thought, Steve, the way Livingston, as he always does, JaVale in minutes, your guys, that supporting cast, seemed to make the most of every opportunity, especially shooting. How big was that during this run and in this series for you?
Well, I mean, we have so many weapons, and when the ball keeps moving, somebody's going to get hot. Like, last game 3, Steph and Clay both struggled, and KD, it's whatever he had, 40-something. And tonight, Steph gets going right away. Clay's in foul trouble. Second half, Clay starts knocking shots down. It's there's just too many weapons for the defense to deal with, all game long.
Steve, we always know that managing continued success is not easy, but your guys seem to play still for one another. And I know this was a difficult season, but just talk about the character, I guess, in that locker room and how you guys are still able to play together, play for one another, and just have a real fun spirit that you see out there on the court.
I think it starts with Steph. Steph plays with so much joy and happiness, and he's out there like a kid. And then you got a bunch of guys who just want to win. Clay's a winner, man. He just he's zero maintenance. He just shows up every day and he works. And I think KD saw that, saw the spirit and the energy our guys played with, and wanted to be part of it. And he's been amazing. And he fits right in because he can play with or without the ball. You saw tonight, triple-double, incredible talent, and it all just ties together. And then you got, Sean Livingston and David West and, multiple playmakers, guys who can all fill in and make plays for each other. It's an amazing team to coach.
Well, you say you had a hard time reaching the team this year. So you're probably going to have a harder time reaching next year. So you want to break some news and retire on TV tonight?
Well, my buddy Tom Tolbert told me I should just not even show up till All-Star break next year. And I'm thinking about that. Maybe I'll show up the first day of camp and just say, you guys are on your own until February. I'll see you then.
Hey, I talked bad about you on TV one night. I'm going to admit this. We've been together for a long time. Yeah. Love working with you. You're doing a fantastic job. But let me tell you something. When you disrespected my Phoenix Suns and let your players coach the game, I was hot. I'd have killed you back in the day, Steve.
Coach, congrats.
All right, thanks, guys.
Enjoy this. 3 out of 4. A parade to come on Tuesday, the 12th. We continue with you. We're showing you some tweets on the show on what's been going on through social media. Congrats to my former teammate, Steve Kerr and the Warriors. That from Avery Johnson coming through on Twitter. We've seen a lot of people tweeting from around the NBA world in the basketball. Bruce Bochy, Hall of Fame manager to be, the skipper of the San Francisco Giants. Happy for the Dubs and Steve Kerr and their run. Is equipped with popcorn.
Oh, you look stressed out, Steph.
All right, equipped with some popcorn. Here is Steph, who had 37 here in a Game 4 win. So let me ask you something I just asked Coach. Draymond said, even though maybe when he was on set, one not more gratifying step than the other, this was the hardest run. Did you feel that over the course of this year through the postseason, that this was maybe the toughest run to go through?
For sure. I mean, from an injury standpoint, throughout the course of the season, we had to kind of mix and match lineups to get us through the 82 games. And obviously, we've been number 1 seed before this year, the last 3 years. And the journey was going to be different going into the playoffs than it was. And, to be down 3-2 in the Western Conference Finals without home court advantage, to try to fight our way out of that and build some momentum coming into the finals. We knew going into this year that the journey was going to be totally different. I didn't quite know what that meant, but we're back and we got the job done, and it's a great feeling.
When you talk about different, the last 4 years, 3 times I've been here when you guys have won. And this year, you guys, just all of you, Coach Kerr, Draymond Green, Andre, yourself, you guys just seem exhausted. And, just the the wear and tear, the mental grind, just talk about how hard that is. People think you guys just roll the ball out and play and you win with ease, but just how hard it is to be at that level.
They only think that, Grant, because they do.
That's true.
They just won 4-0.
I mean, this is our 4th year in a row chasing this trophy and this moment. And obviously, human nature kicked in a little bit during the regular season where you try to fast forward to the end of the season or to April, May, and June when the games that really matter. But at the end of the day, you got to go through everything to get to this point, and it makes you who you are. And I don't think, without our experience last year, I don't think we get through a Western Conference Finals like we had this year to get back to the finals. And then in the fourth quarter tonight, obviously, I know we were up 3-0 and had a chance to go, sweep or whatever. That was the hardest quarter, just physically and mentally trying to just, finish the game the right way. And we were on the bench with 2.5 minutes left just looking at each other like, that was tough. And it's an amazing feeling to get it done.
Steph, when we look at your skill set, I think one of your greatest skill sets besides your shot is your unselfishness. And when I look at your team, your greatest skill set is your unselfishness. And Draymond came and he said it may have started when Andre Iguodala went to the bench and continue when you're the MVP and you allowed another MVP to come. Just for the kids and for the fans, everyone, you talk about your unselfishness because you're a winner because of that, and a lot of people may not be able to have that kind of spirit.
You got to blend that type of mentality with extreme self-confidence and kind of that killer instinct. And it might come out a different way for me. Like, I smile and I have fun on the court, and I like to pass and move and cut and set screens and all that. I don't have the ball in my hands all the time. But I truly value everybody that just steps foot on the floor with me, and they make me better, and I try to make them better. And we've tried to set that identity as a team from I say probably Draymond and Clay, Draymond's draft class when we started to make the playoffs, and build up to this moment. And we haven't lost that the whole way. So I'm proud to have a part in that and try to lead that mentality because it leads to moments like this.
Well, number one, let's cut through the BS and get to the good stuff. How many shots you giving me in Tahoe?
I'll tell you what. Every time, granted, 3 out of 4 years winning a championship. As soon as the buzzer horns, that's the first thing. It's how many days until time. But
give me a shot of hole.
Chuck, you need more. You almost won it last year.
I'm trying to do the math.
Give him 2 shots of hole. Give him 40 strokes. I bet you still win.
You gonna be there too, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, so
I need a stroke. He needs 2.
You give me a shot of hole. That's all I need. I can't have to. Listen, I got some pride.
I'll make a deal. I'll give you a shot of hole if you let me hold the mic in the karaoke bar.
Man, listen, I'm the greatest living karaoke.
See, he's going to get the mic up.
I'm not giving the mic up. I told you, I sing Frank Sinatra,
Yeah,
that.
I've been in there.
They call me Old Brown Eye.
Says the man who told us he threads his eyebrows.
That's funny.
Let me ask you, some of the shots that you hit, we always see the tunnel routine and all that, so I know a lot of the shots that you take, you practice, but some of these,
audacity.
One-handed, do you realize at any point how crazy this is for some of us, especially for these guys who played, never seen anybody take these kind of shots before?
I at some point or another, I've messed around in the gym, shooting them, practicing them, all that type of stuff, but I have a supreme confidence in myself when I'm out there, and that's why sometimes you might go 0 for 9 because you just from the 3 you might just keep jacking them up because you feel that much confidence. And I put a lot of work into it, and I've been blessed with the talent and skill, and want to keep doing it.
On the way out, your family tweets are coming in.
I want to say one thing to you.
Go ahead.
I just want you to know I wish you had played in my day, because if I saw that little I would have body blocked you so hard. You start doing that little shimmy.
You wouldn't have had it?
I wouldn't have had that.
You might have knocked me down. I would have got up and shimmy right back in your face.
Here's a tweet from your brother on the way out. 3 of them and counting. Golden State not going anywhere. Parade coming up on Tuesday. We got more coming up on Game Time live from the NBA Finals. Back-to-back in 3 out of 4.
The chef.
Winning a championship.
1, 2, 3.
Inside Stuff, tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV.
We continue live on Game Time at the NBA Finals, which have gone to the Warriors for the third time in 4 years, the most lopsided sweep in the history ever in a Finals. Plus 60. Back-to-back MVPs for Kevin Durant, who had a triple-double in Game 4 after his 43-point performance in Game 3. Now the big question, LeBron, where to next? Does he stay in the Ohio? We get social media giving you this. Golden State should sign Charles Barkley so he can finally get that ring.
You know what? I don't want to be a bandwagon. They got enough bandwagon guys on there getting rings. They got a bunch of guys who go there every summer to play for the minimum. That don't count.
You'd be the size of a bandwagon.
Just remember something.
Sure.
Listen, only thing matters is bus drivers, not bus riders.
Oh, is that the thing?
That's the way it is for the players.
All right,
for the fans, we don't care about what they think. I'm saying it's bus drivers and bus riders.
Let me get your thoughts on the LeBron scenario. So he punches a whiteboard after the loss in Game 1, admits that he was frustrated, basically says he's practically playing with a broken hand the last 3 games. They did MRIs. All this stuff came out. You want to give us the verbiage behind that side?
He said that you say he...
I'm telling you what he said.
He said he
basically that's basically the gist of it, yes.
Well, did he have a broken hand or not?
Officially,
well, of course,
I'm not
he
a
did.
doctor.
He said basically he did. Well, first of all, he's a dummy for hitting the board. But they wasn't going to win the series anyway. Come on, man. Come on, stop that. Come on, stop that. These guys got swept.
Does it bother you that this comes out now and that this is the story? He comes out with like a cast and all that. I mean,
it bothers me. He could have said it after Game 1 if he did after Game 1. After Game 4, now he says it. Come on, man.
Well, we didn't really see any evidence of that during, Games 2, Game 3. And
at all.
At the end of Game 4, when he checked out of the game and he was shaking a nice show of
because he got hit on that play.
He got hit?
When
Draymond came from behind. Okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe he got re-aggravated there. But, in that situation, if you didn't mention it before, don't mention it now.
Yes, exactly.
If you could write something on this cast, what would you write? Here it is, Chuck. Let's take a look at the cast. I think we have a picture of the cast. There it is. You want to write something on there?
Listen, man, I hope he stays in Cleveland. The guy's a great player. This is a great city. I don't want to see the guy become a mercenary. If he goes somewhere else and win championship, it won't be the same. If he starts that super team thing that he started again, that won't impress me. Winning that one here in Cleveland impressed me. And they got some pieces on this team. I agree with Kobe Bryant. This notion that he's playing with trash is wrong. I don't think Coach Lou, he's the biggest culprit, empowers those guys to play and be free. Coach Lou could do a much better job, and also LeBron could do it. He should give those guys confidence. Like, dude, shoot the ball. Don't wait on me every single time. But Kobe Bryant called it. He says, this knows that he only playing with trash. I don't believe that.
Bother you, Webb? I mean, that we sit there and now the conversation is going to be about a hand instead of the real point, which is they got swept?
Yeah, and to me, the point isn't even if they got swept. They lost the series, and so losing is losing, whether it's Game 7 or Game 6. But yeah, I don't like the narrative because it takes away from everything else. It takes away from how great Durant played. It takes away from how great LeBron has played all season. Not that he wants one, but he doesn't need an excuse. He does not need to listen to the fans. He does not need to listen to the media. He is one of the best players ever, and I just hope that he's happy and satisfied with that. And that's why I want him and to come back to Cleveland, because Chuck just said about a mercenary, but also, Grant, when I look at him going other places, if it's not his guys, if it's not guys that are willing to listen, that understand his game, I think that can get ugly too. And so, to me, yeah, I don't like talking about the hand because it didn't matter. They lost tonight anyway, and if they would have won tonight, they would have gone to Golden State and lost anyway. But it's been a great series, and that's what I've enjoyed.
A series that goes to the Warriors, again, most lopsided sweep that the NBA has ever seen in a final. You look at some of the struggles in the finals for LeBron, obviously, who dominated the East, has had a fantastic career that will continue somewhere. We continue here, though, on set. Most importantly, welcoming JaVale McGee to the program. JaVale, first of all, congratulations. How meaningful was it to you to be able to have the impact that you did in this series and be able to make the plays on the cuts of the basket you did, which were so huge, especially in Games 2 and Game 3?
I mean, it meant a lot. Just being able to be in the finals period and to actually start and contribute in the finals is just a great feeling. And to be able to say it, that I'm a back-to-back champion, is even more amazing.
JaVale, you guys at that center position have a bunch of guys who all do different things. Zaza Pachulia, who didn't play much in the playoffs, Jordan Bell, Looney, yourself. Just talk about how you stay ready, because you didn't play a lot against Houston. Came in that third quarter, you started after halftime, and then you basically started from there on and contributed. But how did you just mentally stay ready, and just the diversity of bigs that you guys that all do different things for your team?
That's exactly what it is. It's mentally. You got to mentally stay ready, mentally believe in yourself. And conditioning is really the biggest thing. And I was just trying to stay conditioned, because it's nothing like game conditioning. Y'all know that. And just being able, that first game I was a little winded. But now that I knew that I was going to start and I was going to play, it was just took it to a whole nother level the day before, or 2 days before the game 2, and back-to-back champions.
Hey, that's good. And congratulations. I got 2 questions real quick. One, when was the last time you made a beat?
Probably like a week ago.
Yeah, I was talking to Andre Iguodala. He was telling me you got some nice beats. The second, I mean, I grew up, we had Shags, and Chuck had a Jerry curl. What the hell is that on the back of your head? How long have you been growing that tail, man?
I've been growing this since 2015. I think the middle of the season I was playing for Dallas. And at first it was going to be a shag. That's what it was going to be. And then I was like, just keep growing, so I'm going to braid it. And then now I'm officially the first player with a rat tail and 2 NBA championships.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So I got two questions, twofold. Number one, like Grant, I want to pick it back off Grant's question. Do you ever know when you're going to play? I mean, because like one series you don't play at all, then you're starting.
So Steve has a good thing he does. Like, he'll tell you, like, we're probably going to go small this series. So at least you're not on the bench. Y'all know the feeling when you're on the bench and you don't know, like, you don't play one game. You're like, what's going on? But no, Steve is an amazing coach, and he tells you, like, you're probably not going to play this game, but stay ready. You know what I'm saying? So at least you had that mentality. Yeah. But he's real good at that, so that really helps with the – I'm sorry, I'm shivering. I'm filled with champagne right now.
We can smell.
I am
freezing.
Second part of my question, everybody know I hate Shaq. Do you hate Shaq as much as I do?
Do you know what's crazy? I'm such a positive person. I don't hate nobody. I stay away from people who bring negativity in my life.
So you stay away from Shaq?
No, I mean, I'm not. I don't really see.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
You hate Draymond too. It seems like.
I like Draymond.
Oh, now you like him? Okay.
So is Draymond as knowing in person as he has on television?
How many people have you asked?
Everyone.
Draymond's not really annoying at all. But on the court, he's a whole different animal. So, I mean, that's anybody. Once you cross these lines, there's no friends.
Jamel,
hey, congratulations,
what
man.
Is it, I just want to, what does it mean to you? We've talked a lot about empowering teammates. And whether it's you or Kevon or whoever is in there, it seems like your teammates have full trust in you. How much has that helped you to perform well for you and really for all your teammates?
I mean, it's amazing. You got 4 All-Stars on your team, and none of them are selfish. Like, not one. KD's not selfish. Draymond's not selfish. Clay, Steph, no one's selfish. Everybody, if somebody's open, they're passing it to them. They're not forcing any shots, and they're still getting their points, and they're still being the great players that they are. So, I mean, it's just an amazing feeling to be a part of that, and I'm just glad to be a part of these guys.
JaVale, you can have season 2 of your parking lot show.
I'm planning on it. That's the plan.
Right.
Y'all enjoyed the parking lot crowd?
I just think you should go a little longer, man. It's like about 5-10 minutes. I think 15-20 minutes.
Okay. I appreciate the advice.
When was the last time you beat your mom in one-on-one?
When I was like 14.
Yeah, so she had you too. How tall were you at 14?
Like 6'4".
Yeah, way to get him, Mom. You're still posting them up. Let them know.
JaVale, congrats, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we got more coming up on the other side here on Game Time, live from the NBA Finals. We'll give you a look at what's going on out by the Bay.
Yo, man.
Fired up. Meanwhile, here in Cleveland, the Warriors celebrating. Back-to-back.
This is a long.
Or they celebrate. Parade coming up on Tuesday. We'll have all the coverage on Game Time on NBA TV. Stu Mitchell and I will be there. Stu Jackson. I just made him Stu Mitchell. It's that kind of a night.
Wow.
It was Sam. It was either that or Sam Jackson.
That's
so
Mitchell.
apparently you knew he wasn't on the show.
Man, that was just rude.
Well, let's get what?
That was rude.
Well, that was rude.
Just calling people
you know how many
the
things
wrong
I've
name?
said to you that you've allowed? That's rude.
I think so. You can't be calling people the wrong name.
The wrong nom.
Case of Stooges. Case of Stooges is your nickname.
All right, no problem, Mumbles.
Hey.
All right, so let's get final thoughts. You could take Dubs. You want to go Cavs. Thoughts on LeBron? Anywhere. What comes to your mind, G?
Yeah, the Warriors. I mean, obviously 3 championships, 4 years. I mean, this dynasty can continue. I mean, I just look, you survey the NBA. Obviously, Houston had a great year. But if they can stay healthy, and the age where they are, they're all kind of in their primes at this point in time. They can run off another 3 or 4 championships. It won't be easy to do, but they can definitely do it. And it's the rest of the league. It doesn't look great because of the Warriors and how connected and how good they are. So it'll be interesting to see how they play moving forward in the future. Can they get 4? Can they get 5, 6? But it's been an amazing journey thus far. I don't think the journey is over.
Yeah, for me, I echo everything Grant said about Golden State, so I'll go to Cleveland and just say what an amazing year they had to have over 20 players, I believe, on their team. The fact that they had basically 3 different training camps with all the trades that they made and to still make it to the finals. You know, a lot of people thought they were going to lose to Toronto, or a lot of people thought they were going to lose to Boston. And so just the incredible year LeBron had, the incredible year a lot of the teams had, and especially those guys like the Kyle Korvers and Thompsons that have been here all year through the trades and won a championship and came back here and got to the championship. So I echo what Grant said. Golden State, they're going to be trouble for a lot of people for a long time. But, you know, the fans in Cleveland should be happy what they saw this year from this team. The GM making some pretty good trades and them going pretty far in the play, or them going to the championship.
It's amazing if Draymond don't commit the fouls and suspension, we could be looking at a 4-peat. That's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, that is amazing. And the thing is, they're getting easier. They won 4-1 last year. They won 4-0 this year. There's no light at the end of the tunnel for these other NBA teams because what they've done, those core 3 guys, core 4 guys, you can see, you can just plug guys in. I mean, they bring in David West. They bring in the young guy. They bring in Looney. They play JaVale when they want to. I mean, this is so bright. It's crazy, man. It's unbelievable.
Been an honor and a pleasure to work with you gentlemen and throughout the course of the year. Happy golfing.
Yeah, thank you, my
Tahoe.
brother. You know what? You're terrific at what you do. I love working with you. I love your sense of humor.
That's not what you just said to me in the commercial break, Chuck.
You know, what I told you was I hope he unbuttons his jacket before he puts Grant out. that button holding on for dear life.
Kind of like the blimp when it took you on board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, they got you. Oh, the close-up on the button. Oh, wow.
That's all right. We'll hear from Steph Curry now at the podium. Thank God for that.
Good transition.
Third row.
Seth, congratulations. Valeria Rubino, Viaggio Sport, Corriere della Sera. Winning 2 championships back-to-back is extremely hard, and then with a sweep. What's the feeling? What's going through your mind right now?
I'm just extremely grateful for the team I get to play for, and just all that's gone into being back as champs again. And this year was pretty crazy in general with all that we went through with injuries and the struggles throughout the regular season. You know, looking at this playoff journey, we knew it wasn't going to be as easy as last year when it comes to our record and things like that, and the challenges that faced us. So in October, we wanted to be back in this moment. A lot went into it, and it's a great feeling to be back here.
After so many ups and downs, as you mentioned, you got to accomplish the ultimate goal for a basketball player. What's your message to kids who dream big but want to accomplish a dream, but they're facing so many difficulties?
I mean, just have confidence in yourself, no matter what. That's the thing that has helped me get to where I'm at. No matter if you have a bad shooting night, or dealing with injuries, or whatever the challenge is, the confidence in yourself and the people that you put around you that can breathe life into you and breathe that confidence into you, that's what makes it all worth it, and that's the moments that you appreciate. Being able to see the end goal, win or lose, really, as long as you give your best effort.
Tim, back right.
Steph, Tim Reynolds with the AP. You're locked up now for a few years, and KD's made it pretty clear that he's not going anywhere. I mean, the core is going to be together, it looks like, for a while. You've won 3 out of 4. It could have been 4 in a row. As weird as this sounds, do you almost get the feeling like you guys maybe just be getting started?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. Any question that kind of talks about the future and whatnot, you don't want to cheat the moment. So we'll have plenty of time over the summer to talk about what next year is going to look like and what it's going to take for us to get back to this stage next year. I know KD said what he said, and we know what contract situations are, but I really just, I'm happy to be a champ again, so it's kind of hard to put myself in any other kind of mental space right now.
What happened? Self-inflicted. Post-game after game one. Very emotional. For a lot of different reasons, understanding how important a game one is on the road for our ball club. What would that done for us? The way we played, the calls that was made throughout the course of that game. I had emotions on, the game was taken away from us. I had emotions of you just don't get an opportunity like this on the road versus Golden State to be able to get a game one. And, I let the emotions get the best of me and pretty much played the last 3 games with a broken hand. So that's what it is.
And then I recognize the finals just ended, but I know you're ready for these questions. Do you feel like you've played your last game for the Cavs?
I have no idea at this point. The one thing that I've always done is consider, obviously my family, understanding, especially where my boys are at this point in their age. They were a lot younger. The last time I made a decision like this 4 years ago, I got a teenage boy, a preteen, a little girl right now that wasn't around as well. So, sitting down and considering everything, but, my family is a huge part of whatever I've decided to do in my career, and they will continue to be that. So I don't have an answer for you right now as far as that. For me, I still have so much to give to the game. And, like I said, when you have a goal and you're able to accomplish that goal, it actually, for me personally, made me even more hungry to continue to try to win championships. And I still want to be in championship mode. And I think I've showed this year why I will still continue to be in championship mode.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. An NBA Finals is never just as simple as crowning a champion. We promise we'll talk a lot about the Golden State Warriors, but LeBron James picks up his 6th loss in an NBA Finals compared to 3 wins. Listen, he is arguably the most decorated player in terms of individual stats in NBA Finals history, but the loss, the injury, his future, are all part of a big night that we will continue to talk about now through basically whenever LeBron tells us where he's going to go. As we welcome you back live here at the Q, where Dennis Scott, Jared Greenberg are with you. We've got more reaction to the Warriors winning a 3rd title in 4 years and the dynasty getting going. But Dennis, let's talk here first about the LeBron James injury, right? I mean, this is unbelievable when you go through all of what he went through and seeing that he reportedly punched a whiteboard after the emotional Game 1 loss in Oracle.
The key word, Jared, is emotional, because he knew how well he had played with the 51 points. He put his team in a great situation, a great opportunity to win. He broke it all the way down. A few calls didn't go his way down the stretch. A few calls were questionable. Obviously, the block charge call was the biggest one. And obviously, you throw the J.R. Smith on top of it. But LeBron James threw the kitchen sink at the Warriors in Game 1. That's why he's so frustrated, and that's why you can understand what he talked about.
All right, a few different things here to go through with the injury. First and foremost, I'll put this out there. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the league, has not minced words about the league's intention with legalized sports gambling and where the league wants to go with that. Injury reports are vital to a successful relationship with the gambling world. The fact that LeBron was not on an injury report, or there was no mention of an injury until post-game after the finals when they knew before Game 2, that may be an issue.
It may be an issue, Jared, but I don't think it's going to be as big as you think, because LeBron James didn't want to put that out afterward. He wanted to wait and say, I'm going to play through it. So with that being said, I applaud him for trying to play through it. And then some say, well, LeBron, you still needed some more help. Even though your hand was hurt, you still needed some more help at the end of the day.
And that's the thing. Again, injury reports aren't a player's decision. It has to be public information because it affects sports betting lines. But with that said, the fact that he couldn't shoot, it seemed, 4 of 14 outside the paint after the injury, how he carried this team. Listen, they didn't win a game, but they were competitive in 2 of the 4, and they almost won 2 of the 4.
So let me take it a little bit deeper, Jared. We as ex-players, if you hurt your hand, you know what you do? You drive more, because now you don't have to shoot as many jump shots. And obviously you don't want to get fouled or get smacked on the hand, so that's why you don't drive. So now watching him in Game 4 and seeing him, I've never seen LeBron this passive. Understanding he was trying to get guys involved and trying to get guys to make shots. But in Game 1, or throughout the whole Eastern Conference Final, you were coming downhill. Right. And that was the difference we didn't see in Games 3 and 4. So if the hand was broken in Game 2, he still came downhill in Game 2. Right. But Games 3 and 4, he did not.
All right, Dennis, there's a lot to unpack in this game. Obviously, we're going to celebrate the champions and a golden dynasty that is clearly underway, and we're witnessing. And as discussed, the end might not be anywhere near in sight with how dominant the Warriors have been. Kevin Durant goes, and in his second year coming over from Oklahoma City, wins his second straight Finals MVP. We'll discuss his performance and how close the vote was for MVP voting, where Steph Curry nearly earned his very first Finals MVP. And, of course, much more on the LeBron hand injury. And also, look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. As soon as this game ended, it's as if summer began. They went right from spring to summer because now questions of LeBron's offseason is going to loom large, not just with the Cavs, but the entire league, with us having to sleep at the studio until LeBron makes a decision. But let's talk here first and foremost as we turn our attention to celebrating what the Warriors were able to accomplish. Something Steve Kerr said, listen, bottom line, we got to give LeBron and the Cavs a lot of credit for what they overcame this year just to get to this point. But the Warriors simply had more talent.
At the end of the day, that's what wins basketball games, talent. And on top of that, this team plays unselfish basketball. I think that never gets old. And people are saying, well, to see the two same teams come to the finals, well, it makes other GMs step their game up and make sure you put a better product on the floor. Because these two franchises the last 4 years, obviously having four of the best players in the world on the team, it makes it a lot easier.
Go back to sports betting here for a second, something we talked about before Game 1 of the finals. This was historic coming in to the finals in that over the last 16 years, no team had been such a heavy favorite in the NBA Finals as the Golden State Warriors. They ended up in historic fashion. No team had dominated a team in a 4-game sweep as the Warriors did in the Cavs, outscoring Cleveland by 60 points total in the 4 games. Let's hear from the champs.
It feels great to go out there and win a championship with these guys the way we did it. Like Draymond said earlier, this the season. It was just an up and down season. So many guys got hurt. We were going through so much. When Pat McCall went down, that put a lot on us emotionally as a team, and we got through that. So I feel like we had a lot of those episodes throughout the year, and to finish it off with a championship, especially in the sweep, feels so good. I'm just so happy for Nick Young, Quinn Cook, their first championships. It feels great that we can go out there and give an experience to guys that haven't been here before, just like they did to me last year. So it feels great that we can do that, and just the brotherhood that we have in that locker room, and just the family atmosphere that we take on the road. Not just the players, but support staff and everybody in the organization. They don't get the credit, they don't get the praise, but so many people helped us get to this point, and we appreciate them, and it feels good to kind of win it for them.
It's definitely the toughest from the standpoint that it's the 4th year in a row that we've attempted to get back to the finals. And I remember sitting in this room 3 years ago. It seemed like a dream. And this feels more like reality. And I hope that doesn't sound arrogant. It's just, that's the talent we have, and that's the experience we've gained. But it's a very different feeling. It's still euphoric, but 3 years ago was, I can't believe this happened. And now I can definitely believe this happened, but it was hard.
I just know what we've been able to accomplish is really meaningful and something that not many players have been able to experience. So wherever that puts us in the conversation in the history of the NBA, or titles around dynasty and all that type of stuff, I'm a 3-time champ. We got a lot of 3-time, 2-time champs in there, and we'll have plenty of time in our lives to discuss that later. So I want to keep this thing going as long as we can.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Clay just Googled himself and say 3-time champion already. That's dope.
And why that's so significant is because he's got one more title now than his father, Michael Thomas.
Ah, that's right. Great call, great call. And we just sitting there listening to that and seeing the camaraderie, the chemistry. And once again, Jared, it never gets overstated that this team shares the basketball. In the regular season, they average 29 assists in the game. Now in the finals at 28. So that lets you know, like Steve Kerr and everyone talked about, they play for one another, and that's fun basketball.
We always talk the chicken or the egg. Is it the culture that is caused by the winning or the winning that's caused by the culture? Bottom line with this team, they have fun on and off the court. They genuinely like each other. They genuinely have a lot of humility. And that's what allows Steph Curry to be okay with not being a finals MVP, and something we'll talk about.
And that's what people have to understand. You as fans can talk about it, but those guys in the locker room are not talking about it.
Right. Interesting. Much more to talk about here. Live from the Q. It is game time. Talking about the three-time, now the 3 out of the 4, last 3 out of the 4. I'll get this right here. There's a lot of championships.
Come on, get it right.
They won 3 out of the last 4. That's all you need to know, and they did it in dominant fashion. And much more on the LeBron James hand injury and questions about what he's going to do next.